Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining me today. Today is a very special day because I would like to introduce to you Seprina, who has been a client of mine, and her journey has been nothing short of miraculous over the past few weeks. So, Seprina, when we first met, the first encounter, I believe, I just had a look through my notes, was the start of February, and you came to me, I guess, in as a survivor of burnout. Actually, our stories reflected each other. Actually, we went through burnout the same time 2 years ago, and you'd taken a bit of a career change. Well, not a career change, but a job change. You chose to stay within the IR/ER industry, and you took a change in job, which provided you some more flexibility. However, when you came to me, would you like to explain as to where you were at that point in time?
Yeah, thanks. So, for me, as you had said, yes, I had been on that journey
Yes.
from career highs to not they're not so highs.
Mm.
And when I had come to you, I am quite happy continuing to do the IR work, working with others, working with people in that space. But there is something that's just not there's just something that's missing. I
The
think if I
missing
could put
piece.
it like that.
Yeah.
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 There's just something that's actually not quite aligning, if I can put it like that. Yeah.
Okay. Wonderful. So yes, he came to me knowing that something was missing in work and life. And we had some beautiful conversation through that application call. And then and there, you decided to commit to yourself through committing to me. And I just wish to express again my gratitude for that. It was inspired fast action, and that certainly served you well because it was a matter of days. I believe a week later, we jumped on our onboarding call. And I remember one of the very first things we celebrated actually was, I think it was immediately after our application call, you actually had received an offer of employment. And you had decided then and there that you were actually going to knock it back. So I guess, would you like to put some thoughts and words about that, the thought process you were going through at that point in time?
Yeah. So when we had that call, I was in the process of making a decision about would I take another role for, I guess, for the sake of taking a role,
Yeah.
um, in that sense. And there was a lot of questions that were then arising about, well, what would happen if I did? What would happen if I didn't? And again, when it came to the crunch, there was that alignment piece again. And there was something for me that was saying, don't, don't take this role. Like, just,
So you listened to your intuition and you said no.
yeah,
And thankfully, looking back, because then we delved into the deep inner work together. So since your immersion was a virtual offering, we actually split that over 2 days. And the first day, if you recall, we did all that very important, the crucial inner work. So it was all around your mindset, but also identifying you, because you were feeling a bit lost in life, that there was that missing piece. And as you stated, there was that misalignment in life and work to who you truly were. So we had to discover who you actually were. So if you recall, we went through the process of, looking at what provided you joy, what drains you, what your desires were, and then we led into the self-identity work. So your purpose, your mission, your vision, and your personal values. So reflecting on those few hours together, and I just wish to highlight that was literally achieved in, what was it, 3 hours, I think our first session was. So there was a massive body of work. But we had some very enriching conversation, and we dove deep very quickly, and we got that done. So I'm just interested in your reflections about that time, and what outcomes were actually achieved through that first one-on-one session.
Yeah. Um, for me, a lot of my, if I call it my identity,
Yeah.
was wrapped up in the career,
Yes.
the success,
Yeah.
or what my expectations of success were, um, and what that broader piece of having the career and all of that means. So my identity was quite ingratiated into that.
Yes.
And it was really such a valuable experience for me to take a step back and actually focus on, well, what brings me joy?
Yeah.
Like, where does joy come into my life? And what are the things that I'm doing that make me feel tired and drained,
Yeah.
and getting really honest, I think, with myself about the joys and the drains.
Yes.
And then the concept of they can be both.
Yeah.
I don't think I thought that joy and drain could be both.
Yeah.
And so that was a really valuable piece for me around, well, who am I and what brings me joy outside of
Yeah.
success as we are taught it, and having that career. So that was a really useful piece for me to strip it all back, and who at my core
Yeah.
was I and what brought me joy.
Yeah.
And then taking that quick action on the joy.
Yes.
So it wasn't just about the discovery of the joy, it was about, well, then how do I bring more of that into my everyday life? And how do I navigate through those things that drain me, but also bring me joy?
Yes. So not only was that unearthing piece, but there was that blueprint as to how can you amplify joy, how can you control drain. So yeah, you literally had that piece of that action plan for you to take and implement. So how has that joy and drain work, what impact has it made to your life?
Yeah, that's really significant, because I now have awareness of
Yes.
what is draining me, and then how can I add the joy in.
Yeah.
So an example of that is if I'm doing some type of study,
Yeah.
or some type of learning activity, that for me can be quite draining. But because my joys are around music and movement, if I bring some of the music and the movement into the learning
Learning.
piece,
Yeah.
that for me it enriches the learning,
Yes.
because I'm bringing the joy into that.
Beautiful, beautiful. Yeah. So there's a lot of power about understanding joy, drain, but also desires, because that aids you. Yeah, you're nurturing your energy, you're managing your state, and that enables you to bring the best version of you forward. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wonderful. So then we actually got into the juiciness of your life's purpose, your mission, and your vision. And I actually do remember a very beautiful moment, because it did take a little bit to unpack. So I had to use my facilitator skills to delve into that, to unpack it with you. And your life's purpose, to shine brightly. I actually do remember when that was discovered. It actually, we both had to take, I actually wrote the words here, the words that we use with, I actually need to take a little time out for a cry.
Yeah.
Because it was quite an emotional time.
And I think because we both knew what we were trying to get at,
Yeah.
but we just couldn't quite get the word to that.
Yeah.
And I remember I was writing something or looking at something, trying to find the word, and I heard the word shine, and
Yeah.
I was like, that's it.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's it.
So what we drilled into was that your life's purpose is to shine brightly, that your mission of service is to inspire, and your vision is to provide a safe place and space for people to be authentically themselves. So that is such a beautiful piece of work. And those conversations, and also we also had conversation about your personal values, which again is very valuable work, because once you understand your values, you actually have an understanding as to why you emotionally react the way that you do. Yeah. So,
And I was just going to say, in that moment when we were talking through the shine and for people to be their authentic self, and I don't actually think I said this at the time, but that then there was just that alignment, which is what I had been what's been missing.
Yeah.
And so it kind of came full circle, and it was just, oh, there it is. Like,
yeah.
And it wasn't that I hadn't thought about that before, but it was the way that it was crystallized around the vision and the mission and the values and purpose.
Yeah. So that was your aha moment where we nutted all that out, and it's like, yes, this feels good. This is it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then we had the discussions, though, as to how work and life could align with that, right? So there was the conversations that you naturally attract people that are seeking clarity themselves, that are seeking direction, and knowing that your mission is to inspire, your vision is to provide safe and place for people to be authentically themselves, and that you yourself, you're here to shine brightly. That led to the conversation regarding your growth as a premium mentor. Yeah. So when that was first raised and discussed, your initial reactions?
I think like the coaching had always been in my kind of thought process, but I hadn't actually thought about it from a mentoring perspective. And I think for me that sits, again, I go back to that word aligned, around the place and the safe and the inspiration. That just resonates more with me. And it's not a term I was familiar with or had heard before, but it kind of fit in amongst all of that.
Yeah. So then on our second day, and again, that was another 3-hour session virtually, we then drilled into, well, the remaining 3 pillars of my Thriving Biz framework. So that's your message, your model, and then the master work. So we did some beautiful work around your message. And it was all about, again, being that inspiration for female leaders in career crisis, to shine brightly themselves, to be that lighthouse. So, yeah, if you'd like to put some words and thoughts around it.
And it kind of crystallizes what I've been thinking and where I've been going, and reflects my own journey of being in that corporate world and knowing that something wasn't quite right. But I didn't know where to go or what to do or who to talk to about the fact that this world that I had created and worked so hard for was falling apart and down around me, and I didn't have the joy for it. I didn't have the ability to get myself up every day, which was so strange and confronting at the time. And I didn't have anyone to go to or who to talk to about that. I just kind of shut that all down and continued to soldier on. And we know where that led to. Because that wasn't me being in my authentic base.
No, thank you for the share, definitely, because again, I too, being in burnout, I that resonates with me. It's not a pleasant place to be, and as you say, not having that person to share with, you're making decisions almost blindly.
Yeah, and I think we all think that our story is our own and it's unique and no one else is experiencing
Mhm.
that. But if you look across, it's you and it's me, and there's probably a whole other suite of
Most
women out
definitely.
there in those senior positions who are going, something just doesn't feel right.
Feel good. Yeah.
Something doesn't feel good.
So
But yet I'm gonna put it all to the side and I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna do
push
the
through.
job to the best of my ability, and then I'm gonna come home and I'm just gonna,
Collapse.
yeah.
Yeah. So what you have, Sabrina, is a gift to share the world, and that gift is your truth. And by sharing your truth, you'll be inspiring other women who are in that career crisis, that not knowing what's missing, but knowing that something's not quite right. And that is, as I said, that is a beautiful gift that you have to share the world, and in the form of premium mentorship. So well done. Like, where you have come from and where you have grown is nothing, that is such a huge quantum leap. And knowing where you're heading now is just, I will say, I'm immensely proud of you. Those realizations regarding your life's purpose, you know, the alignment of that, and now pursuing this premium mentorship business, really does need to be commended. It's that inspired fast action that we both understand, how that works in your favor. So well
Yeah.
done. Now, one thing I would like to ask, before wrapping up, well, there's a couple of questions. First of all, throughout our time together, what would you consider your real take homes? Like, where have you found the most value?
For me, it's the getting clear on vision, mission, purpose. And it's also around that action, that fast action.
Yes.
And I remember we were talking about message, and I'd gone away and I was sitting at the computer trying to craft up a beautiful message, and trying to make it perfect as we
Yep.
once did in our
Corporate
corporate
lives.
world. Um,
Yeah.
and I remember I sent you a message. I said, I'm blocked here. And I said, one of my joys is being outside, like being outside.
Yeah.
And I grabbed a hat, I grabbed my yoga mat, I grabbed a pen, I grabbed a piece of paper, and I just went and sat in the park.
Yes.
And from that, all the work that I'm meant to be doing kind of flowed onto the page.
Yes. It's all in the environment.
So, and it's all, again, as you say, in the action.
Yes. Fast, immediate action.
So
Yep.
I'd been sitting here for, I don't know, a good couple of hours, and it just wasn't working. But as soon as I got up, I made the decision I would get outside because that brings me joy. I sat under a tree, and it all kind of started to make sense.
Yeah, no, that's, and I do remember that DM conversation and that great outcome there. Now, I guess again, another question, this I will admit is self-serving. But regarding those that may be out there that may have been following myself or maybe yourself in your new business, that are on the sideline regarding, oh, do I need a mentor? Do I don't? What have you found to be the strengths of actually working in mentorships, the benefits?
Yeah, I think it's the ability to be able to bounce ideas, bounce thoughts. If if you're in a place where you're kind of stuck, you can
Yes.
go, I'm just gonna reach out here.
Yeah.
And I think for me, the biggest piece of that is I'm not alone in this.
Mhm.
Like, I've found myself as I've gone through career, you kind of stand in your own
Yep.
space and build yourself up, and you kind of, sometimes forget that there are other people out there who can actually feed in, or who have lived their own experiences
Yes.
that can actually, they know where you are, they know where you're at, and
Yes.
they've got this life skills and the abilities to kind of help you through that because they've lived it. They've been there.
Most definitely. And thank you for raising that, because again, when you're engaging with a mentor, look at their lived experience. If they've been there and if they've grown through that, they are the ones that you need to be speaking with. Most
Yeah.
definitely.
Yeah. And if you see someone in that space and you go, huh, that's interesting.
There's a pull.
There's a draw.
There's a pull. Listen to it.
Then listen to it.
Yeah. Yeah. Most definitely.
Yeah, it's calling to you.
Yeah. Couldn't say it any better. But guess in conclusion and to wrap up, again, I just wish to celebrate some successes with you. First up, as I said, on that application call, fast, decisive action. You committed to yourself then and there. Okay, so those are traits of a great client. Those are traits of someone who is actually going to make transformational change in their lives. Then to being so committed to the process, so entrusting in me. So gratitude for that. Thank you. But to actually see where you're growing, now offering a premium mentorship. And again, a call out to anyone who's in this audience. If you are a female, career orientated woman who feels something is missing, that something isn't quite right, that you're approaching career crisis, by all means, I encourage you to reach out to Seprina, because as you've heard, she's worked through this herself. She has the lived experience, the skills and the knowledge. What I'll do when I post this video up, I might just throw in a link to your LinkedIn profile, Seprina, so people can reach out to you. Likewise, though, if you're interested in my offerings and my services, again, feel free to contact me. As you can see, we're both women with a variety, a range of lived experience and a wealth of skills and knowledge to share. So thank you so much for your time, Seprina.
Thanks.
And I'll look forward to, working together in future. Thank you so much.
Thanks.
Okay, then I'll catch you later. Bye.
Bye.